So we're gonna have to just cross our fingers that we crit here. Alright, let's look at Ame's baseline stats. As we can see, everything is fairly average to wizards. This is how their stat lines are usually spread, and defenses are usually low in compensation for the amount of damage that they should be outputting. And we obviously know that she's a mage, basically generating 5 points at the start of turn. She also generates action points when using skills, so it's very good for mages if they can cycle their skills over and over and over, because that's how they generate action points. And obviously we're increasing attack by 10%, hence the whole wizard aspect in them doing damage. Ame starts with 15% crit chance, while the rest of the cast starts with only 10%, and that has to do with her passive. But before we get to her passive, every other thing is standard to what a mage would bring, so there's no need to really get into that. The attack is 1200, which is important because we really want to lean into that. Now, her first skill. This basically attacks an enemy. Depending on the unique effects applied to the caster, activates one of the following effects. So basically, in short, if she has Ume Uchiren, which is an irremovable buff, she attacks an enemy and has a chance to increase the priority by 20%, so her priority by 20%. And if she has Sakurachiru, she attacks an enemy and has a 100% chance to increase the damage, or rather the attack, of the caster by 30%. She has a level 1 burst, which is just all additional attack effects apply. I have no idea what this means. I've tested it a little bit. It doesn't seem to make sense. It actually takes away her S2 as soon as you use this, which I'm not sure if that's intended or what, but it doesn't make sense to me. And then we have increases damage, right? That's standard. And then increases penetration by 30%. All of this, as soon as you click her burst, it removes her S2. She can no longer follow up. I'm not sure if that's intentional. Her S2 is usually a follow up to her S1. So she'll do her S1 and then she'll follow up with the additional damage to also break and weakness gauge for PvE side. But for PvP, we're just talking about a follow-up attack, which is just going to do additional damage. And there's a synergy here that's at play that we'll talk about once we get to the third skill. The third skill is the core of her kit. She attacks an enemy, then grants an extra turn. So this just does more damage if the target is over 50% HP, but it doesn't do max health damage, it doesn't do proportional damage to max HP, it doesn't do any of those things. And obviously her passive, again, this is more of a PvE thing, but she is a PvE character as per the thumbnail, but I do think she could have some niche uses in PvP, at the very least for RTA, but we'll still be playing around with it. Generates 25 chain points after attacking. Dual attack obviously generates 15 action points for the caster. So doing a dual attack, that's a PvP thing, because now she's generating action points. So that's something important to take note. She's actually a good mix between PvP and PvE. The only problem that I'm seeing here is it's going to be very difficult for her to get a turn, and especially in the meta that we are in. But in RTA, you could definitely make this happen. So I do suggest, if you are saving up and building up your characters for RTA, pick up a copy. She's going to be useful. Trust me, it's going to be good. Her exclusive equipment increases accuracy to water by 30, which is really good for PvP and PvE. This is not useful though. The actual effect itself for PvP is useless. For PvE, it's pretty damn good. This is also what's going to make her really good against bosses, especially when she's doing a lot of damage. But this section, it's not the first time where we're using characters exclusive equipment just for PvP. We use her exclusive equipment just for this accuracy buff here, right? Because when Noah Kaiser X, this is her S3, that is a useless skill. You never use that skill in PvP ever, not once, not ever. Increases damage dealt inversely proportional to the number of targets. Sure, the way it kind of works is this skill, you may use it, but it only really works at 5 stacks of Kaiser energy, and it's not good. It's just really not good because it takes so long to stack up, and usually the combination between her 1-2 punch is more than enough. So we use her EE anyway. So I think Ame is going to be more of the same, where we are going to use her EE specifically for that accuracy boost. Let's talk about gear. So when it comes to the gearing, there's a couple things that I think can work, and I do think crit damage set can work. I do think quite a few things can work if you're going full offensive. Personally, I'm experimenting with the increased damage while buffed, because by definition she does that anyway, right? So on her third skill she gets that Sakura Chiru, and that's supposed to increase the damage, and that's a permanent irremovable buff, which means they can't even debuff you. That's just the permanent thing. They can't strip it, nothing. So being able to increase the damage from something that's permanent is fantastic, well, at least to me. And then obviously we just have the attack, but also this could be the crit chance set, that 2-piece crit chance set, just to boost up the crit chance. I'm still playing around with it, and I also don't have enough crit chance pieces to kind of get that done, because obviously we do want to have, I'll talk about the stat lines in a second, but we do want to have 100% crit chance with her, because that's actually pretty important. For the weapon, I decided to go with Noblewoman's Guile. She's gonna have high attack anyway, may as well you know, benefit from the bleeding chance. Because of this bleeding chance as well, I can, if it's on PvE for instance, I can then pair her up with some characters who are going to do a lot of damage based on whether or not the boss has bleeds, right? So it's just an additional way to sort of, you know, really take control of a boss. In PvP, the bleed is fantastic, because if you fail to kill a character but they're low enough, they will take that bleed damage before they take an action, so they might die just from the bleed itself. So that's something to note as well. For the accessory, I decided really to try something different, right? So I'm going with the attack accessory, attack percentage, just to boost our attack as much as possible, and this also increases attack by 6% at the start of the turn at a max of 5 stacks. This obviously adds up to 30%. Now I don't think this is the best in slot necessarily, because there is an accessory that automatically just has a 100% chance to increase the attack by 30% flat out as the turn starts, but that accessory doesn't have a flat attack stat, but it does have penetration. However, she has penetration on her S1, so that might not be entirely necessary. But also, listen dude, we all can't have all these crazy accessories. I'm just not rolling them. They're just not coming. I have a couple, but they're just not rolling correctly. They don't have the right skills, so it's unfortunate. This is the best one that I have for this particular situation, and I might as well just test it out. Alright, that's going to be it for this one. Let's look at the stat lines, and I'll go over some recommendations of what you want to reach. Now obviously the 5,200 is maybe a little bit excessive, and also it's probably the product of the accessory that's increasing my attack. Realistically, you want to aim for about 4,500 attack or more, right? Defense, you're trying to aim for about 1,000, just because of how low her defense is. You're just trying to get to 1,000 as much as possible, because she's already squishy. It would be really bad to keep her this low. Health, she's very low at this point, right? You want to try to aim for about 9,000 health, just to give her that little bit of bulk. The defense and the health at 1,000, at 9,000, that's still on the low end, but in PvP that could work, right? And that's very valuable if you could get that done. So sacrificing a little bit of attack for a little bit of bulk, if you want to take it to PvP, that's going to be worthwhile. For speed, I'm not entirely sure what's best yet. I think 180 is probably minimum, but I do think you do want to have a pretty fast, right? I think she may want to be a 200 speed character, maybe 240 speed, but 240 is a bit excessive, especially for a character who you're not building with speed gear, but it could be quite difficult to attain. You would require quite a few max rolls on speed to get there without speed gear, you know. So I think about 200 is a good spot to aim for. I think that's a very solid spot. 180 probably at the minimum. 160 something could probably work, but she would be too slow. I don't think she'd get turns, and she really wants to take a turn, right? Because she wants to cycle as quickly as possible. As we noticed that we have a 5-turn cooldown on her skills. She wants to go a lot. She wants to, quite frankly, push herself up quite often. She wants to priority push herself up often. She wants to take turns. She wants to rotate. She wants to reduce this as much as possible. So she kind of needs to be pretty quick. I would say 180 to 200 as a minimum. If you can get to 220 speed, that's probably where you want to be. Crit chance, you probably want 100% here. Of course you could use Valentine to sort of mitigate that gap, but that's not really going to work if you're going to want to play her as a PvP unit. She could be amazing in a Cleave team. Cleave is not doing too well in PvP right now, but if you want to play her as a standalone character, she will need that 100% crit chance. This is just the fact. It should be a lot easier as well, because remember, she starts with 15% base critical hit chance, assuming that you level this all the way up. So I'm missing these level ups here, so I'm not really getting the full benefit, right? But crit damage, I would say we're looking at about 250, 200, 250 should do, especially the higher your attack. That's going to be very important. Obviously, if you can get to 300% crit damage, that would be great. But maybe that's if you're running a crit damage set, and that's completely viable. Who knows, that might be the best way to go about it. But I do think if you can manage to squeeze out 250 critical damage while you're running attack boosts, that's probably the way to go. My gear right now obviously is not there. I mean, I may be able to roll this and it could go up. Maybe it could get to a maximum crit damage, who knows. Something like that. I could possibly get another piece here that's part crit chance, crit damage. This is obviously, yeah, it is what it is. These are just pieces that came from, I think, the arena pieces or something. I can't remember where these came from, to be honest, but there's a lot that I could do to still improve this to get this. And if that was maximum crit damage, of course this would push up and it would be 250. I think you could make that. Accuracy, you're probably looking for around 240 minimum. 230 will work as long as you're attacking water units, and 240, 250 probably is where you want to be. That's pretty hard on most characters, by the way. Evasion, 250 I think is fine for most characters, because you really don't want to focus the stat too much. If you can get 250, that's fantastic. Obviously, when I'm saying you don't want to focus the stat too much, all I'm saying is you want to focus your offensive stats, and if you can get evasion along the way, that's actually really good. But usually if you try to focus on evasion, you're not going to get your offensive stats where you want to be in terms of your stat lines. Effectiveness, it's not really necessary. She doesn't want to really debuff any characters in any way, shape or form, so it's not really a thing. Resilience, it's not really a thing. That's basically my recommendation on the stat lines and kind of like where you want to be aiming for. All right, on her transcendence level, she does give an additional 6% critical hit chance, basically adding to how easy it is also to build her with crit chance, because not only does she get the 10% extra crit chance, so she starts with 15% crit chance, and then she also has another 6% crit chance from a transcendence at 6 stars, which puts her at 21% with no gear. And really all you really have to come up with is 79% from a crit chance standpoint, and to be honest, that is a lot easier to do than trying to go through 100%. We've had characters where you could only get to 80% and you were struggling. If you put that gear on her, she's immediately at 100%. That's something to take note of. That makes her really good. All right, let's jump into some PvP. Thank you guys for watching up to this point of the video. I know it's been a little bit of a long one, but I hope it's as detailed as possible. Leave a like on the video and comment if this has been useful to you. So we're gonna have to just cross our fingers that we crit here. Okay, we're critting somebody, we're not missing, but she's immune, so she's going to revenge. We're just hoping we don't die. She already used that, so I can push down priority for at least these two. I can push down 20% priority. Leo can go protect everybody. I think that should be fine, but I'm also be pushing that Leo up by another 15%. Okay, she died, so that's good for me, I think. Oh, that's unfortunate. His HP is so low that if I protect here... Oh no, that's fine actually. She'll die, she'll come back, and then... It's fine, it's fine. I think as long as Ame gets a turn, I think this is fine. I think this is the best we can do for now. Oh, she's gonna get revived. Oh, everybody's gonna get revived basically. Let's see. Okay, and we're gonna be safe here. Specifically, Ame is gonna be safe. Okay, we safe. Oh my. Okay, she got a turn, but it's in the worst possible spot. But But here's what I'm thinking. We attack her, we get the extra turn. I wish this was AoE. I wish this was AoE. Because we're going to attack her, we get an extra turn. Problem is we have to attack her again. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that I'm going to have to attack her twice. And we're still leaving her up on the board with the ability to act still. And this has a 5-turn cooldown. That is not good. That is not good. I have this. This is not leveled, guys. This is level 2. I can't rely on this to kill anybody. Oh, that's a tough one. Okay. Okay. What does the Leo have? The Leo still has everything. It's not gonna work. Anyway, let's just get a showcase. Let's see how much damage this does. Oof. A clean 20k. A clean 20k. I mean, I like the 20k, right? So you kill her, she comes back, and then how much damage is this at level 2? Clean 8 to 9k. Okay, 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 okay. I want to try to get her as many turns as humanly possible, right? And we can't have Leo. Oh no, she's gonna die. Wait. We just had a revenge, right? Oh no, she can revenge again. Oh my goodness. Leo's not gonna get a turn. Leo's not gonna get a turn. There's a silence here. Not Leo, I mean, she's just not gonna get a turn. But she's here. 38%. Nah, she's not gonna get a turn. Okay, let's try to just kill Leo. Alright, let's try to kill Leo off the bat. Okay. Okay, no, that's a pretty squishy Leo, so it's fine. I thought, I don't know why I thought it was a tankier Leo. We're going to go in, because she's going to get another turn here before she goes. I don't want to attack her because I think she's a counter, and I would like to go into her with my ultimate. So let's do this. Hopefully, nope, we don't get that. Additional attack effects apply. Pop that. Let's see. Can a level 2 skill do it? Oh, no, not quite. Not quite, guys. That extra 15% damage. Ooh, that extra 15% would have done it. That extra 15% on the S1 would have killed the Mene there. Problem is, I don't know how strong this Mene is. So it's a tough comparison, right? So, because I don't know, man. It doesn't, like, she doesn't seem that tanky, but it's a tough comparison, man. It's a tough one. What I think, if I can, we're going to do this, and we're gonna, if we get counted here, I don't think it's a good time if we get counted, but we're gonna get hit anyway, right? So the idea would be to say, okay, let's try to silence her and she can't revenge, and then we try to kill Mene. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's fine as long as there's no counter. Okay, as long as there's no counter, that's fine. Let's try to kill Mene. Oh my goodness. How am I missing now? Well, I guess that's that. Well, that's it from me. And just remember, we don't suck at the game. We just need to get good.